One More River to Cross, an African American photograph album by Walter Dean Myers, narrated by Faith Freeman, Kiera Williams, and Nicole Jones.
Lord knows the first crossing was hard. So many lives, so many dreams were lost in the form of the dark ocean. It hurts the soul just to think about it.
From can to can't, from sunup to sundown, we did the work that had to be done. The sowing and the reaping, the building up and the cutting down, the digging and the turning of the soil, the grinding. We did it all. Some of us found freedom early, not many, mind you. But when we got loose from the chains and from the whips, we found our dignity.
For most of us, freedom was just a dream. We shed a river of tears on those plantations and on those auction blocks. Bitter, bitter tears.
When the war came and we had the chance to be strong out loud, our men took it. Men used to bending and bowing showed they knew how to stand tall.
Then the hard war was over and freedom came.
Freedom came pouring down like a sudden summer rain, warm and so sweet to the taste.
We were walking down the streets with a freedom walk. Working was easier with freedom by our side.
Folks who had learned to read started teaching others who hadn't.
Folks who had run off to freedom started to come back home.
Oh, we still did the work.
But hope had overcome the horizon. Hope stood bright on the hill for all of us to see. And we gathered in joy and called out our greetings and shouted, "Amen, hope." What took you so long?
We had hope, but we didn't forget. No, nobody was forgetting.
Nobody expected it easy. We were not an easy people. We had been deepened by the suffering we had known. We were deep, like the rivers we had crossed. No, we didn't even need easy. And there were always the children. They were our victory. We moved away from the darkness of captivity, making our own way.
And bringing love and learning to our children. We got on with the work. And encouraged our young people. We had the quiet wisdom of the elders to guide us. The old warriors who had seen so much passed their vision down to the young ones. And at the center of it all were the families. We were 100 different kinds of people, doing every little thing you could think of. And some things you never think about at all.
We did every kind of work. Folks were proud to earn their own way. We saw ourselves as serious people going about the serious business of life. We knew how to wait for tides and how to run them, how to remember old wounds and how to forgive them.
But where we saw families growing up, some folks only saw differences and didn't like it. Where we saw new foundations, some folks only saw color.
We were saw as heroes and scholars. Some folks just saw us being in their way. Some folks told us about what they wanted us to be. Some folks didn't seem to see us at all. And didn't understand that they just didn't understand.
But we just kept keeping on, doing what had to be done. Now, the children of folks born on plantations, the children of people who were beaten and sold, these children were showing everyone what free people could do. The mothers had worked the fields, but just look at what their daughters were doing.
Strange how some people could look down on our women.
And our men. strong and deep-rooted as trees planted by the river of life. We couldn't always agree on the path, but we would go forward. And we did go forward, doing it all. Of course, we had some fellows with no more character than a humpbacked rattlesnake, but that's the way life goes, and you have to expect that. We were enjoying ourselves, living clean and tasting the fruit of our labor. We even started our own communities, our own little towns. But no matter how far we came, there always seemed to be something in the way. Always one more river to cross. We were set back, run out, pushed down, and beat down. But we had been through too much, had seen too much to stay down. You hear? We knew what being strong was about.
So we just kept about the business of who we were.
We weren't always doing good. Some of us were struggling just to make it from the day to day.
The variety in our lives was something else. Look at these young women. Got a mule hooked up to a car axle. Isn't that something? Folks would do what they have to, and we may do. Of course, we were believers, strong believers.
It was a belief fired in the forge of hard times and tempered in the cooling waters of hope. No matter how we tended to our own business, we couldn't forget what some folks thought about us. And the people who hated us because of our color were proud of their hate. Our roots were in the South. We had pulled weeds in places like Cross Creek, Georgia, and Killeen, Texas, and Mars Bluff, South Carolina. In all those little places where people knew your name and who your family was. Child, you know what hard work is? It's a farmer scratching in the hard earth looking for a better life. But when the banks don't want to know you, you can't get a fair price for your crops, and you just don't feel safe in your own home. You reach a point. Many of us headed north for a new start.
It wasn't all that we hoped for. Again, we may do.
We brought a style to the cities, a swing of the hips, a rhythm that folks around the world began to notice.
And we were still a spiritual people. Maybe it was just our time for a new kind of strength. Maybe coming together like that, listening to one another, and seeing what we could do up close, brought out the lights in us. Just let it shine on out. Another war came, and our men lined up with the rest.
He came along and stole our hearts. We lived and breathed that man. When he got through, some of us felt we had all got through, and we wondered why it had taken so long.
It had taken so long, and still we had to struggle. There were people to lead us, people willing to take us to the mountains. He has delivered my soul in peace from the battle that was against me. Yes, and we have crossed the rivers that needed to be crossed, and have seen the still waters.
Our tears have been washed away, allowing us to see with our eyes the stories that have been told. and with our hearts the ones yet come. And through it all, the sweet triumphant of life, a triumphant we have nourished like a scared flame through the centuries. We have kept it safe in our southern fields and northern tenements, and the western mountains, and through all the rivers, great and small, that we have crossed.
The story is of triumph and endurance, and of the breadth and the depth of the human spirit.
The reason for the story, for the celebration of what has been, is that the journey continues.
And truly, it has been
A powerful journey